Chris,
Marcus.
we are back. It is a little pocket awareness. You guys know what to do. Follow us on Twitter at ALPA_QB1, Instagram ALPA_QB1, of course, Facebook, a little pocket awareness, and then of course hit the subscribe button and download button on Spotify. And you never watch the tapes online. We're doing a little special video here. Because Raiders fans, we need a quarterback. So might as well talk about quarterbacks, you know what I'm saying, with me and Chris. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So let's get it. Let's see what we do here, right?
It's like we talk about quarterbacks once in a while here, Marcus.
I know, man, right? But we do that. So, all right. Well, let's get into some other stuff here. Zach Wilson.
Yeah, that's some other stuff for sure.
I mean, they tried to NFL tried to wake us up with some news. We were like, we all went right back to sleep, waiting for the draft. After that, like, oh, what was that, Adam Schefter? Oh, never mind, it's back to sleep. So nobody really cares. I mean, I guess maybe Sean Payton gets something out of him. I mean, he looked better on film last year. I'm not gonna lie, he looked better. But I mean, I don't know how good he's going to be. I mean, maybe Sean Payton thinks he could do something, but it just basically tells us they're not drafting a quarterback. I know that's for damn sure. They're not drafting a QB.
No.
Yeah, but they're going Jarrett Stidham or Zach Wilson. I don't know what to say. I mean, that's, you know, the Raiders fans of me is laughing inside. But, you know, I mean, Zach has some ability. Maybe Zach, you know, it was a wake-up call. I mean, he did play with like the worst offensive coordinator of all time, and Nathaniel Hackett. There's some things there. Maybe that's why maybe Sean's like, you know what? Nathaniel Hackett's terrible. I got more out of Russell Wilson. I can get more out of Zach Wilson. He's just trading Wilsons. You know what I mean? He's going Wilson to Wilson here. You know what I'm saying? And I think that might be what he's trying to do here, because it's just interesting that he's trading for Zach Wilson after that he sucked with Nathaniel Hackett, and Russell Wilson. He got more out of him than Nathaniel Hackett did. So maybe he's just like, you know what? I can do this, but we'll see.
Well, I'll tell you what, I was thoroughly unimpressed with Zach. I told you on this podcast when we had that draft conversation that he was my number one bust coming out of that draft class, and I have stuck to those guns the entire time. It would be very interesting to see what Sean Payton can get out of him. Maybe moving him closer to Utah brings back some of those magical plays that he had while he was out there at BYU. But Denver struck out with their QBs. They struck out with their new jerseys that they just dropped. Did you see their new uniforms?
Yeah, or the old school, with the old school or the new school?
New school. Now, they did drop that they're going to have the old school as their alternate, and they should really, truly just go to that as like their everyday jersey, just to save some face. But I'm glad they're bringing the orange alternate, and they're even bringing the old logo back too on the helmet for those alternate uniforms.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, it's the donkeys, man. Ugly donkey uniforms. There to keep being the donkeys, keep losing. So
now they look like UTEP.
I don't know. I don't think Sean Payton's that good of a coach.
Them or something.
I think Sean Payton's a little overrated. I think him just killing what's his name, Russell Wilson, like that. It was uncalled for. So I don't know if he's that good of a coach. So we'll see. We'll see what they look like. They're not going to fire him though. I know that.
Oh no, no. That I can't believe that the GM still got a job after what he did to that franchise here over the last 3 years.
Ooh. I mean, yeah. I mean, you got a point. I mean, they expected like Tim Fitzpatrick and Jerry Jeudy and all those guys to be great, and they weren't that great. And then they gave up Jerry Jeudy.
Well, they didn't do anything for him.
I can't believe the Browns paid Jerry Jeudy like that. That was just the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I don't know what.
How does that surprise you? With the way that they paid Deshaun Watson, you're surprised that they paid Jerry Jeudy?
I know.
They've reset the market twice now.
Deshaun Watson. I mean, that was crazy that they did that. All right. Deshaun Watson is not going to be talked about today. Maybe later on in the summer. But
well, I mean, if we're going to talk about Zach Wilson, let's talk about the rest of that draft class really quickly before we dive into this.
You got a point. Yes. Let's talk about this draft.
That just leaves Trevor Lawrence as the only QB from that draft class that did not get traded.
And you know what's funny about that, Chris? So I did this like little study on dropbacks for just trying to see how to pick a quarterback that can come out and be good in the NFL. And there's like a thing with under 1,000 dropbacks and over 1,000 dropbacks. So if you're over 1,000 dropbacks in college, there's a pretty good chance you're going to be at least like pretty good, like top 20 maybe. Usually those guys top 20, whatever. All the flame outs that you could think of recently were all under 1,000. That whole 2020 class that all got traded, they were all under 1,000 except Trevor Lawrence. So that kind of is just like a
setting a
simple
new
formula.
benchmark over there, Marcus.
Yeah, it's like a simple
1,000
formula.
dropbacks.
It's literally the simplest formula ever. People like try to adjust it, but
wasn't
that's
there
what happened
something
with that
about
class.
like what redshirt sophomores or
Oh
redshirt
yeah,
juniors? I
it's a
can't
big
remember
thing
what
too.
it was.
Redshirt sophomores, yeah, they suck. They suck ass. Sam Darnold under 1,000 dropbacks. Boom. See, Drake Maye is different this year because he has 1,100 dropbacks, but he's a redshirt sophomore, but he has over 1,000 dropbacks. So it's gonna be a little different for him.
Find out
So
what it is.
yeah, we're gonna see how that works. But I
And
think
he
it's probably the
also
dropbacks though. Go ahead.
Drake May also has the Josh Allen final year regression, the Jordan Love final year regression, things that happened in college that their last year before they went to the draft, they didn't play as well as they did the year before. So, what are we going to get out of Drake May is a great question because
Yeah.
my instincts right now, Marcus, are telling me Mitch Trubisky 2.0.
To be honest, it's where he goes, man. I don't want to go full into my breakdown here with these guys, but it all depends on where he goes. So, I mean, that's gonna be the interesting part. I'll talk
Oh,
about that a
that
little
yeah.
later.
No, I agree with you completely. And we saw that with last year's quarterback draft class too. It really truly depended on where they went to get any type of anything out of them. And it same for the case for the guys that we're talking about right now. Well, that Trevor Lawrence draft class. Like
Mm-hmm.
you got to put these guys in a position where if they're going to come in and be your day one starter, you can't screw them.
Yeah.
As much as I dog Zach Wilson and have been giving him crap ever since draft conversations started with him, he's never been put in a position to succeed.
Yeah. I
Never.
mean, he hasn't, and even if he did last year, like I said, the worst offensive coordinator ever. It was a pretty good team. He just runs slant flat all the time, slant flat, quick out, slant flat, quick out. It's just over and over and over again. So he really had no shot. Let's keep it real. He didn't have a
That's
shot, but
it's truly what
he
it is
did make
with the
some stupid ass
quarterback
decisions
position.
too. He
Oh,
did make some stupid
absolutely,
ass.
absolutely. That's why I still stand with my bust profile for him, and that's why I still feel the same way that I do about Kyler Murray. And I'm gonna be
Under 1,000 dropbacks.
even more critical of him in this new season.
I think Kyler's getting better though. I think Kyler's getting better. It's just when like I said, you draft a guy under 1,000 dropbacks, there's gonna be some development there. Because it's literally only two. I want to pull it up, but my computer's too damn slow. It'll take too goddamn long. So basically, what would happen is there's only been two guys that have been good who have under 1,000 dropbacks, like who are really good. It's Josh Allen, and you can even put like CJ Stroud. There's two since 2016. So that kind of tells you how these guys work. If you're under 1,000 dropbacks, you're just taking a chance on a guy who just hasn't thrown the ball a lot or played a lot. So, but yeah, that's really the whole 2021 class is like the 1,000 dropback number proof. There's four guys who didn't have under 1,000 dropbacks, and there's one guy who was over, and that dude's the only one that's pretty good, right? And he's been even a little bit overrated, but I still think he's a good. He's a good quarterback. He's just not like how people say he is.
He wasn't the Messiah like he was being
He's
called
good
out
though.
as
He's
being.
good.
I still have faith that he can move up into the level of elites, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hashtag we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, it'll be interesting to talk about Josh Allen. It'll be interesting to see what Josh Allen's season looks like. That Stephon Diggs is in Houston, which they just gave CJ Stroud the AFC Championship. I don't know why they did that. I don't know why the Bills traded him to a team in the playoffs last year. You couldn't trade him to to Washington.
You got to get him back to NFC. Yeah. No, you're not wrong. You are not wrong.
You just and the complaint, Chris, I checked my sources. My source is my brother, actually, but I checked my sources on this one.
Okay. All right.
Is that Josh Allen isn't like a big let's go work out together guy. You know, Stephon Diggs, he wanted to go like catch passes with Josh. Josh is like, I'd rather go golf with Aaron Rodgers. And there's that type of thing. And then as soon as Stephon Diggs gets traded, what's he doing like the next day? He's on
He's
Instagram.
out there catching with CJ. Yeah, I saw that.
Taking shots at Josh. Look, Josh, look, I got a new toy, Josh. What you got?
It's going to be very interesting to see how this season pans out for Josh Allen, because Marcus, I said it last year, as we went into last season. We already saw peak Josh Allen.
Yeah,
the ceiling has been reached.
Maybe I still think he's a great quarterback, though. I still think he's really good.
I'm not saying he's an awful quarterback. I'm just saying we've hit the ceiling when it comes to Josh Allen. We know the best version of him.
We'll see. This could be a telling season for him, because I don't know who they're gonna get him to throw to. They're picking really late. They're gonna get him like get Mccarthy. I don't know what their plan is. So I mean, trading stuff about Diggs.
They don't have any money. They just got rid of a ton of veterans too. So
that's what happens. You pay quarterbacks, man. Quarterbacks are paid too much. Right. I just want to say that.
That's exactly right.
Way too much. We can't pay these guys like $30 million. Like, why we got to pay them 50? Like, why they have to be $20 million more than a wide receiver? I don't understand that. Or a defensive end. Like, they have to be $20 million more. Like, Kirk Cousins gets $45 million. Like, come on, guys. Let's think about this a little bit.
Well, you know what's wild? You know what's even worse is you got to pay him right now. Like this Jordan Love contract, get him the money now, because in 3 years, that contract's going to look a lot better. You look at Patrick Mahomes' contract right now, Marcus, he's not even in the top 5.
I know.
He's not even getting paid top 5 quarterback money.
I know. Number one guy's like, what, Justin Herbert?
I can't remember who, but I mean, Deshaun Watson's getting a boatload of money. Josh Allen's getting a boatload of money. Kirk Cousins getting a boatload of money.
Joe Flacco came and took the Browns to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. And they got to pay him all that guaranteed money. Guaranteed money.
I was telling you, man, Watson's not gonna be the same, man. He's going through the Manti Te'o right now. I'm telling you, he's going through the Manti Te'o situation.
Yes.
Where you every mistake, you just think about all the memes, you think about all the things that are happening. Every time you step back and you catch that football, you think, if I can't miss this throw. If I miss this throw, then everything's gonna go bad.
Never gonna hear the end of it. Mm-hmm. You're right.
Ask me the doc. It's the Sean Watson documentary is gonna come out, guy. What is it? Unreal or whatever. I don't know what it's called. But yeah, and the doc, you're gonna hear about him. He's like, I just couldn't concentrate anymore. It was just in my mind the whole time. And yeah, because he is below average now. The top 5 to 25, and like
that was a tough season.
The fall off, man. The fall off. All right, so
it's time to talk about these young kids that are getting drafted on Thursday.
Draft time. So let's talk about the lot of the draft buzz, right? Caleb Williams is going 1. Right, it's kind of just a foregone conclusion. And I don't even think people talk about Caleb Williams. They're too busy fighting about Drake Maye and Jayden Daniels on Twitter. There's arguments. People are angry.
Yes, they are.
People are angry, man. I don't know. It's getting crazy. It's getting crazy out there. I mean, they brought up every stat about Jayden Daniels. These stats that they came up with from the ground, it's just wild to me. But his buzz is out there. He's being a little bit of a diva, though. He's trying to force himself to the Raiders, which a lot of Raiders fans really like. He's trying to force himself there. I don't know how much that's going to work. It might work.
Antonio Pierce connection, man.
It might work. I don't know. Things happen. You know what I'm saying? But
well, I mean, it's doing something, because if you watch according to these betting sites, the JJ McCarthy buzz on the betting sites talking about him ending up at 2.
Can we trust the betting sites anymore after Will Levis, though, Chris? We can't trust him.
I mean, Marcus, if they would have listened to the show in the first place, they would have known that he was never going to be a first-round draft pick. Don't know what to tell you on that one.
Oh, I know, but JJ's going first round, man. Jay's going to go high, dog.
He's gonna go. I mean, it's
they just got the intangibles, Chris. I mean, we're ready to get into this in a second, but JJ has the intangibles, my dude. That you're not even thinking about. And
I know he does.
The buzz around him is high.
Yes,
you know, the buzz around Drake Maye. I think the NFL is lower on him than Twitter, because you know Twitter likes cool throws, and Drake Maye has a lot of them. He's got a lot of cool throws. It's very cool. So he's like a guy who gets all the girls, but just doesn't get married. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things. He can never settle down.
Oh,
you know
why?
I mean? Like,
Where's the red flag there? What's the red flag there all about?
That's like my best analogy right there, bro. That's exactly what it is. He's like a, you know what I'm saying? He's like a bachelor. He's a bachelor quarterback. He's got to settle down and get married. And, you know, there's always a thing with married quarterbacks. Like Bo Nix, man. Bo Nix, he got married, had 2 years at Oregon. Look at him. Now he might go second round. Bo Nix is going to be undrafted at Auburn.
No, I think honestly, I think he might have had better draft stock if he would have stayed at Auburn.
No, because they wouldn't have won. You know what I mean? He went to Oregon and started winning. You know what I mean? Had some success.
Bro, they won because they were in the Pac-12.
I mean, Bo was pretty good, man. But Bo was pretty good. But
he was an Auburn legacy because of that family name.
And he couldn't handle it.
Playing in the toughest division in college football. And that's where you prove what type of quarterback you are, if you've got those NFL skills.
Are you hating on Pac-12 quarterbacks right now, Chris? I'm
hating on Bo Nix leaving the Pac-12, and I'm sorry, leaving SEC and going to the Pac-12. I'm not hating on Pac-12 quarterbacks because our very own Jayden Daniels, Arizona State.
Yeah.
Let's remember where he started. Went to the SEC and had success and became the Heisman.
Yeah.
And that's, Marcus, that's why I love Jayden more than I like
I'm not going to
Caleb Williams.
Don't even say it.
Continue to say it.
Don't even say it.
It's not going to be old news. I'm going to make sure everybody knows. I'm very happy that the Bears are going to take Caleb Williams at 1. I'm a happy camper.
All right, so let's do this, Chris. Let's get into it. But I want to ask you. Let me ask you before we get into this: how many quarterbacks go in the first round? Call your shot.
We might see 5 go in the top 10 picks again.
5 didn't go top 10 picks last year, did they?
Not
last
Josh
year. Rosen. That was Josh Rosen. Talking about Josh Rosen here, right?
Well, no, not just
that was 4. 5's never happened.
Didn't we have? Wasn't it 5 for this draft class that we were just talking about? Trevor Lawrence.
3. No, that was
Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Mac Jones.
15. Mac Jones 15.
Justin Fields. Oh, he was 15.
Yeah, did not. Yeah, 15. There was 5 quarterbacks taken, but there were 11 and 15.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I could see that happening again. I could see 5 going in the top 15.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it at all, but I could see it.
It could, because
Bo could go at the end of the first round. That's still a chance.
I'm going 4. I'm gonna go JJ, Drake Maye, Caleb Williams, Jayden Daniels. I think Penix and Nix. I think Penix buzz
both of them drop.
Yeah, I think Penix buzz is a little coachy. Like the coaches, like him. Right. The coaches don't pick. That's what I always say. They don't make the picks. They can like who the hell they want to like. If your coach is making the picks, they end up like John Gruden. That's what they end up like. We got John Gruden here, and we Cleveland Farrell because he's the perfect SDE for Paul Gunther. You know what I mean? That's not being a GM. That's free agency. You know what I mean? This is free agency. You know what I mean? This is those type of things. So I think coaches like Penix because he's good on the board and he's a pretty smart guy, and I think he's a little bit more pro ready to go. It's just where his ceiling's at because he might have a higher ceiling than to give him credit. But I don't know if the NFL teams are going to go with his injury history. NFL teams like to lie and act like, oh, it's not a factor. Or they're like, oh, you were injured 4 years in a row. They're going to factor that in just because they're haters. And I think Bo Nix, that's going to get factored in too, that he wasn't good in the SEC, just like you said. So I think those things are going to keep them out of the first round. But I think they go in the second round. I think if somebody falls the furthest, would be Nix. Nix would fall to the third round.
I agree with that. I agree with that assessment too. I really liked Penix through the entire football season. And then when he got to the college playoffs and the way he crumbled against pressure.
But he balled one game though. He had his best game on film one game.
But what was it? He was the championship game, right? I think of the semifinal.
No, you're talking about the championship game. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, the way that he crumbled was mind-boggling to me. It really threw me for a loop because I thought I had him pegged. I really thought that I thought he was the best quarterback all season.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got to that championship game and he folded under pressure. That's what it looked like to me. That's what it looked like to me. And you can't.
I would say he folded under pressure. I wouldn't say he folded under pressure. I think he just under the most pressure he's been under all year. He had the best offensive line college football. Rosengarten's getting drafted in the second round. His right tackle, his left tackle is going first round. So he had a first round and a second round tackle all year. His right tackle was so athletic that he could do whatever the hell he wanted. He was like backpedaling. He was doing all this terrible shit that you shouldn't be doing as a tackle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's his right tackle.
But he runs
basically a left tackle because Penix was a left-handed quarterback. Like he might have been technically, with his technique playing on the right side of the line, but he's basically left tackle all season.
Yeah, strong as an ox and runs a 4.92. So he wasn't getting beat a lot. Let's just say that in college, people weren't beating him a lot. But they got to some NFL players over at Michigan, and them boys had some moves, a little more difficult for Roger, and that's why Penix was struggling. Their center got their ass kicked. I don't know who their center was.
Yeah, no, they got destroyed right up the middle, and I thought that Penix had the ability to play with the pressure in his face, and it completely dropped him on how I felt his draft position would go. So I agree with you. I still think he's better than Bo Nix. That's for certain.
All right, so let's just get into we'll get to top 5 right now. I'll talk about some other quarterbacks coming out. So there's Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler, he's an Arizona guy.
Spencer
are familiar with. Spencer has had a pretty good, I would say, process, kind of showing that he's more mature. I still think he's going to be more of a second round guy, third round, maybe even fourth. Because if your quarterback's a second round guy, he might go fourth. Let's just keep it real. They're taking defense tackles, taking centers, taking guards.
Yes.
The quarterback position gets kind of pushed down a little bit. So outside the first round. So who knows? I think he's in that second, fourth round range. But it depends on as he matures. But he's an interesting guy.
He's got the talent. I mean, they started him over Caleb Williams at Oklahoma. They don't do that because he's not talented.
Yeah.
So, did you hear that about Caleb too? Did you hear him get on the microphone and say that he was offended by the staff at Oklahoma for starting Spencer Rattler over him?
I mean, he kind of should have been. I mean,
you think so?
Yeah. I think so.
A
little offended. I mean, because Spencer Rattler, while he has arm talent, and
yes, he does. He
does some arm talent. I think he doesn't see the field very well, and he's very slow. That was the thing that I saw at the combine. But then after the combine, I went and watched the film again. I'm like, oh, you are slow. So that was you know what I mean? Really slow, not very athletic. He's a 6 foot pocket passer, thick guy. He's like 220 pounds. He's a pretty thick person. So the thing is, at the Senior Bowl, he's 224. Okay, had a great week. Senior Bowl. He went to the combine. He's 211. So that means he was trying to run fast,
and he couldn't do it.
And he ran a 4.9 at 211.
Maybe that was fast. Maybe that was fast. Who knows what he was putting up before at that 220?
You know what I mean? And it's like, wow, you are kind of slow. So that's Spencer Rattler. Michael Pratt. I won't get on him too quick, but definitely a quarterback that might go third or fourth round. Same with Joe Milton. Some team might fall in love with Joe Milton and take him over those other guys. Watch out for that.
Well, I mean, when you can throw it out of a stadium, people tend to be very impressed by that.
And played pretty well in the SEC. He didn't play bad. He played pretty well.
Yeah, he did. He did pretty good. Don't forget about our D3 quarterback.
Which one?
Oh, now I can't remember the kid's name. Of course, I bring him up and I blank on his name. But there's some scouts going to check out a D3 QB.
I think I know who you're
Oh
talking
my
about.
gosh,
Is it
what is his
Michael
name?
something?
I can't remember it. Oh, I was just watching his
I think I know who you're
his
talking about.
he did like a pro day at his college, and I was checking out some of the film on that, and he's got a little bit of a live arm over there.
Yeah. A
Live
little
arm.
backup, coming there, a
So
little Tyson Badgett.
there's your little story. Your Mr. Irrelevant this year that will take some team to the playoffs.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, Brock Purdy was good in college, though. Let's keep it real.
Yeah,
Iowa
Brock
State's his
Purdy,
ass
he played for a
since he
lot of
left.
years. He played for a lot of years there.
They won 10 games
That
every
was
year
a
he was
man.
there.
Yes, he did. That is a man that put a good college resume together. And Big 12 football isn't a joke.
Yeah.
So
And last guy out of my top 5 is Bo Nix. I have Bo Nix in my top 5. I just think Nix is he's
limited.
I mean, I'm not gonna say he's a bad quarterback, because I mean
No.
he fixes feet. He definitely fixes a lot of his mechanics. I just think the other guys just have a little higher upside than him. I feel like he's just I feel like he's more Mac Jones type of guy.
Yeah,
You know
I can
mean?
see that. I can see that. Absolutely.
All right, so let's get to number 5, Chris. Who do you think number 5 is? Who do you think number 5 is?
Your number 5.
Who do you think my number 5 is? Who would be your number 5? Let's start there. Who's your number 5?
My number 5?
Yeah.
Drake Maye.
What? Okay. Hey, you go Drake Maye. Okay. All right. Drake Maye 5 for Christmas. All right. So who's my number 5? What do you think?
I think your number 5 is Are you trying to be sneaky on me right now?
I don't know.
Hit me. I
JJ McCarthy is my number 5.
Oh, so. I did not think you were going to say JJ at all. I thought
no,
you were going to have him higher than that.
No, you did. Okay, all right. So JJ McCarthy is number 5. Like I said, JJ is the Alex Smith of this draft. My comparison for him is Alex Smith. Okay. Alex Smith is probably what his. I'm not gonna say his ceiling, because ceiling could be a little higher. I think he's a little bit of a liver arm than Alex Smith, even though when you throw it outside the numbers, it kind of could die on him a little bit. But he knows how to run offense. Mm-hmm. Definitely a guy you can use his legs to. Definitely a lot of movement that you can do with him. Anything in the run game, you can run QB sweeps. You can get him in the zone read game. You can do all those things. You can use his legs, use him in the red zone. And he played pretty good in some big games, even though sometimes he didn't play very good in big games, like TCU the year before. We threw 3 interceptions, had 3 pick sixes, I believe, some shit like that. It was crazy, but I think those type of things are there with him. That there's some upside. He did run a pro offense. He knows those things. He has a very high intangible guy. That's the big thing with JJ. JJ is a leader. You know what I mean? He's like one of those alpha type of dudes that comes in there, takes advantage of everything, knows how to get those guys going. They started winning as soon as he became a starter. He's like 27-1 or some shit like that. Definitely has a lot of that pedigree to him. But there are some bad things with JJ. So, JJ is I call him a starer. He's definitely a starer guy. He's going to stare at something, and he's going to throw it no matter what sometimes. Sometimes it makes some cool throws, and sometimes it's getting picked in the NFL. Like his best throw, his favorite throw of all time, that you'll see all the time, is this one that he's like against Ohio State. Everybody's like, oh, he threw it between the seams. And for some reason, he says that he got the guy to move with his eyes and they got the guy to turn around because he knew it was going to be the play. So he threw it behind his eyes. So he turned around. I think that's bullshit. Whatever. So
You're lying.
Liars.
You got you threw it. You're like, oh shit.
Because the Ohio State safety's staring right at him, Chris. He's like this. And then he's getting ready to throw the ball. And then the guy turns around while he's throwing. And I'm thinking that's not going to happen in the NFL. That's a pick 6. Right, so it's the coolest throw. I think you know what throw I'm talking about against Ohio State, where it's it was it's the seam, where it was oh my god, the throw by JJ. But on all 22 is the stupidest decision that you can make, and I don't care what anybody says. That's kind of what JJ kind of is a little bit. There's a lot of things that was hidden by Jim Harbaugh, and he don't throw deep at all. I like it. It's like a rare thing, but he's big on third down. Like he was great on third down. It's a big thing with JJ. There is some upside there, but I do like him better than Bo Nix because I think he's younger, played better in college at a younger age, and was successful in college. Just high intangibles, high intangible guy. You can tell that he's going to go in there, and that's why he might go too. Because they had that little alpha QB group thing. And if they had a group project, I'm sure JJ was the leader. He was telling everybody, "All right, you're gonna do this." I'm sure JJ just went in there, took over. Yeah. Adam Pierce is like, "Yeah," and him and Dan Quinn, like, you know what? He's a soldier. He's just that type of guy. He's that type of play with Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
That's why there's a chance that he might go. That too. Like it sounds crazy, but
listen, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
JJ can win you over. I'm sure he could. I'm sure like I'm sure he's a great guy.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? And he's gonna go in there and start a leadership. How good is he gonna play? I don't know. You might go 10-6 every year, but are you gonna get past the divisional round with JJ? I don't know. JJ's like he might have just like that gutsy leadership where you get like 9-8, 10-7 now, type of things. But I don't know if JJ is gonna take you over the top. You'd have to build around him a little bit because Roman Wilson has a pretty good film and he's probably going to go fourth round because he played with JJ. So,
yeah.
Any thoughts on JJ?
He's my number 4. So I can agree with you on everything that you said. He gives that game manager vibe versus being the reason that you guys are going to win the game. But he's played in some massive games through his college career, and the kid showed up. So that's why I got him at 4.
Wow, you got him over Drake Maye, huh?
I got him over Drake Maye. I'm not high on Drake Maye.
See, you're acting like 2018 with us, man, Chris. I mean, we missed on Josh Allen because of some of these thoughts you have. I know why you have him at 5, but I'm just
I just got too much Mitch Trubisky and Josh Allen going on right now.
He's better. He at least has a that. You know how many dropbacks Trubisky had, Chris? Take a guess.
Not a lot.
Like 640.
Yeah, he was a flash in the pan in college, and everybody loved when he would roll to the left and throw. So,
I mean, at least Drake Maye has like 1,100 dropbacks.
I didn't see any good viral, no pads, bootleg to the left, turn the shoulders, and drop a bomb on you. I didn't see any good viral videos of that this year. So, I'm happy that
we're done with the pro day love.
That we're done with the pro day love, or the combine magic throw.
I mean, the combine matters for GMs. Like I said, Tom Telesco drafts the same combine guy every single year.
I don't like how something that doesn't happen in an actual game goes so viral. Like that's the most amazing thing in the entire world.
Exactly. All right. Number 4, you gave your number 4, JJ McCarthy. We'll get to Drake Maye in a second. We'll have a little conversation about that. We'll get to Drake Maye in a second here. Mm-hmm. But my number 4, I kind of just gave it away because I said read the Drake Maye. It's Michael Penix. I was lower on Michael Penix to start the year because start the draft process because I thought, I actually kind of like Bo Nix more than him just because I thought Bo Nix had a little bit better Senior Bowl, just a little tiny bit. Especially the last day. Just overall, I think Penix is a little rough out there, and I think somebody's going to get used to a little bit of his accuracy. But I think there's a lot of high upside with Penix. I think Penix is a very high upside player. I don't care about his age. He has a really big arm.
Mm-hmm.
A cannon, can make it. Doesn't need a lot of effort to throw the ball deep down the field. Doesn't need a lot of effort to make some of those throws. And I think there's a lot of upside there with him. And then him having that pro day where he was able to show his athleticism, which you could see it on film that he's able to do some of those things. But I think he has a chance to be a good start in the NFL. I do. I think that maybe he won't be, a top 10 guy, maybe just because of accuracy issues consistently. But I think he can go out there and at least be like Justin Fields or something like that. You know what I mean? Like it's not like he's gonna be like something bad. You know what I mean? Justin Fields could, goes out there and wins games. I think Michael Penix can go out there and win some football games. So I think that's how I look at him. A lot of the knocks on him are a little stupid. I think the real one is his accuracy. He's just he's most erratic guy. Streaky. He reminds me of like to be honest, he reminds me of Phillip Rivers. because that's how he throws the ball. He throws the ball like Phillip Rivers, the little sidearm push thing, that Phillip Rivers did.
Oh,
The little, you know what I mean? The little,
oh,
you know what I mean? He does.
all
That's what he does.
right.
Just a little push.
Okay.
See, the difference is though is that Phillip Rivers did the push and it would land perfectly in Antonio Gates' hands right over the shoulder, and Penix doesn't do that. Every time while he does the push, it might just land in the stands. And there's a Texas game where he's doing the push and it lands everywhere, just like he's Phillip Rivers. And then the other time he's out there, he's looking more like Cam Newton a little bit when Cam Newton's off. So there's a little bit of a mixture there with Penix with accuracy. I think that's his biggest issue. I think pressure, how he handles pressure, is a little tough too because of the angles he throws at. He can't really step into throws and stuff like that under pressure. He can't step into a hit because of the way he throws, but he can have some good releases when he gets hit and he can flick it. But especially what they asked him to do in Washington too, you could tell they really took advantage of his big arm with some of the offensive plays they ran, the scheme that they ran, because they did try to spread it out, take advantage of his huge arm. But I think he's a good prospect, man. I think he's going to go second round though because of his injuries. But if I think he didn't have any injuries, I think he would have came out of Indiana probably as a first round pick anyway. So
wow,
just because he would have been able to show his legs more, and I think that's why he's not using his legs because of the injury. But I do like Penix. I do like. I wouldn't mind if the Raiders drafted him. At 13, yes, I would mind a little bit. But at 44 or like trading up into like that 33 or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I've got Penix as my third quarterback. Okay. And it's because of the way that he throws the ball down the field. I thought that he was one of the best deep ball throwers in all of college football. I was very upset to see him not step into those throws in the championship game against Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it was because he had such an amazing wide receiver out there with him, but there was just something about the way that man threw the ball down the field that I have a problem with guys like Jalen Hurts and Tua and Mac Jones because they can't push the ball downfield. And they're able to connect on the dink and dunks because, well, they've got great coordinators that have got them timed out with these routes to be able to get the ball out of their hands as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like you're talking about with the accuracy issues, from 15 yards in is more of a problem for Penix than 15 yards out.
Yeah.
And there's just, if he can go to a team that can buy him some time with an offensive line, I think we'll see a little bit more success than anticipated because he'll be more likely to throw those deep balls. And I think he's just got a better feel for the ball 15 yards plus down the field.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you throw the ball downfield, you can get away with a lot.
Yep.
You can if you're aggressive, especially with some good receivers, right? And some guys you go in with, and you put some speed around him. There's gonna be times where the offensive lines get set up, especially in play action, man. You get some play action that holds the defensive ends, gives them that time to kind of throw those deep balls. That Yankee concept, man. Yankee for the win. Yankee for the win. All right, Chris. So number 3.
Who you got? Is it Maye?
Drake Maye.
I think
Drake
it's Maye. Yeah, I think you got Maye at 3.
I went Drake Maye. I'm a little more basic here. I didn't get too crazy here with my top 5, but Drake Maye's at 3. This is something I came to my final decision maybe 5 days ago, man. This has just been rough on me. One day it's Drake Maye, one day it's Jayden Daniels, one day it's Drake Maye, one day it's Jayden Daniels, and I decided just to go with Jayden Daniels in front of him because I thought Jayden Daniels is a little safer in my opinion. I think Jayden Daniels is more of a not saying he's going to be a sure fire superstar. I think he's more of a sure starter. I think he's going to be a good starter in the NFL. He's going to get the job done. Even there might see some quirks. He might get hurt. We'll get into him in a second. But just with Drake Maye, though, I think Drake Maye just has the higher upside. He has a little bit more, even some high upside like Caleb Williams does. And that's why a lot of people have him ranked over Caleb Williams because they're trying to bet their shots that he's going to hit that upside. Because he has some crazy throws. He has some nuts throws from the pocket. He has some nuts throws making a lot of plays outside of the pocket. He's actually a really smart guy too. I think he's from a ceiling perspective. I think he's going to come mentally ready. So some people might come with a good team. It all depends where he goes. But if he goes to a good team, he might have a chance to kind of be pretty good because he's going to be able to set protection. Something he did in North Carolina. Set protections. seeing blitzes when they're coming. I don't know if he handled it the best all the time when he saw them coming, but he would see them and he would point them out, do a lot of those things. So, there's some intelligence there, a lot of moving linebackers with his eyes, open up windows, a lot of things that he did really well. But I still think overall, it's going to be a little bit of a issue with this because of his feet. I just think he's just terrible feet. And, people don't like to talk about it. He's got to fix the feet and he's got to fix the feet under pressure. I think he's got happy feet. He's got some moving. He's got some happy feet. A lot of people try to ignore that about him, but it's some happy feet there. There's a lot of movement. You watch an NFL quarterback break him down. That's what they talk about. His feet are just firing, and it makes him inaccurate. If your feet are firing, you got to get accurate. So you got to get his feet planted. That's gonna take a lot of coaching, a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of work ethic from the coach, a lot of patience too. It's get a lot of patience from your coaching staff. You got to be really buy into this is a 3-year plan with Drake Maye. It might not look good the first year, or it might look better than you think, right?
He needs some Jordan Love time on the bench.
Yeah. And I don't know if he needs that time on the bench necessarily, because I think he needs to play because he's so good at protections. I think he needs to play and then figure out that you can't play in the NFL with your feet like this, and then get some coaching. That's what I think it needs to happen. He needs to have that Josh Allen experience a little bit, where Josh Allen was just kind of running around with his horse get off, and then eventually he fixed his feet and he looked pretty good. So, but that was a 3-year process too. So that's what I think is with Drake Maye. You got to fix the feet. But because two things, he's either going to be Justin Herbert, and he's either going to be Justin Herbert or Josh Allen, or he's going to be Derek Carr. Which that's why I think his ceiling's a little higher than people think, because that's what Derek Carr is good. Derek Carr has terrible firing feet. His feet fire. He bounces on his feet all the time. He's, what I'm saying. John Gruden fixed it though. But then now he's firing his feet again. John Gruden's gone. He's firing his feet. Feet are firing. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's the thing. So Drake Maye's ceiling is higher than people give it credit for, right? Because I think he's going to come in, and that's why a lot of these guys on Twitter, they're going to be bragging next year because he's going to come in, he's going to play pretty well because he's a smart guy. He's going to pick it up really quickly. He's going to get in there and he's going to play really well, right? He's going to play better than people think. It's just long term. Does he become Derek Carr? He's just can't get you over the hump. This is for Raiders fans. This is a Raiders show right here. This would be a great Raiders point here. Is he going to be Derek Carr, where he's kind of you're just frustrated as a Patriots fan? If he goes to Patriots, you're just frustrated, or is he going to be, Justin Herbert's on the Chargers, to be fair. The Chargers are the Chargers. We're going to charge. So it doesn't matter what he does. But are you going to be are you like Josh Allen, the Bills, where you're going to the AFC Championship every year or something like that, or contending, right? So that's where I think the kind of lost concept of Drake Maye is. People are just talking about how his upside is, he needs to sit out. I don't think it's necessarily he needs to sit out. It's just, does he ever get here? Or is he going to stay Derek Carr?
Well, you specifically, when we're talking about struggling with pressure, and that's a big part of it too. You brought, was it the Miami tape that you were talking about?
Oh yeah, Miami. Well, okay, so it was Miami first, right? They started to play cover zero and just attacked him. He threw 4 touchdowns that game, so people say that, but he had a 53% completion percentage. Okay, and then so the rest of the ACC was like, oh, that looks cool, and they played cover zero for his last games. He was under 60%. A little bit of his offense, to be fair. But
not as much NFL talent as the year before.
Yeah, a little bit of that too. But the ACC wasn't that great this year. I mean, it wasn't like they should have been they should have been the ACC championship games at like Louisville. They got Drake Maye. You know what I mean? Like, he still should have uplifted that team a little bit. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Drake Maye.
Yeah, I mean, what Marcus is talking about with his feet firing, you can't be wild with your feet as a quarterback. You got to be able to ground yourself, because a lot of the power in your throw comes from how you position your feet and how you use your feet when you're throwing the ball. When Marcus is talking about firing the feet, there's a few things that add into that. Pressure is a big one, and that's something that they pick up on film very quickly. Marcus is talking about how that happened in the ACC. Well, guess how fast that happens in the NFL? Even faster. So if he can't calm his head to be in a position to make the right read, and then to be able to get his fundamentals right so his feet are underneath him so he can make the right throw, that's a problem. He's already sped up when they're blitzing him from the ACC with that cover zero pressure look. He's going to be sped up on another level because going to the NFL is just another level of speed. So now he's going to try and catch up there. And then if they pressure him on top of it at the NFL level, this is a disaster scenario. Drake Maye needs to go to a team that if they are going to play him early as a rookie, that needs to be a solid offensive line. Because you will see what happened to Zach Wilson happen to Drake Maye if he is in a position where he has to try and carry a team as a rookie. He will get offensive coordinator after new head coach, and then he'll get traded and he might be a backup for the rest of his career. I have Drake Maye as low as I do because that scenario is more likely to happen than a scenario where he gets to spend some time, learn a little, not be baptized by fire. I give him about like a 20% chance of having success in the NFL. And that's way higher than I gave Zach Wilson. But I don't think that he is going to be placed in a situation that it's going to go well for him.
No. I don't think so, because I think he's going to the Patriots, and that's where it's going to be funny.
I think that is exactly where my mind went. It's Mac Jones. He couldn't figure it out. He wasn't the kind of guy that could handle that baptized by fire. It's not that he couldn't handle it.
He might fall, man. I did my Raiders mock draft. I did have him going at 9, and then the Raiders trading up and getting him. So maybe that happens too. Maybe he's just.
You're gonna take Maye at.
That was my shot in my mock draft that we did for our last podcast. But he could go to the Patriots. I mean, he could go to the Vikings, but I think
those are two awful situations. I'm happy. I would love to see Drake Maye in Minnesota. That offensive line's not good enough to keep him on his feet.
He's got the dogs though. He can just throw it away. He can just throw it up.
Throw that to Jair. Oh yeah, Jair will get it. McKinney will go get it. Let's go. I'll take that. Put him in that situation. I would love. You're gonna give me Maye and Caleb Williams? Let's go, baby. I'll take both of them in the NFC North.
All right.
2.
What do you do? 2. We're going 2. 2 obviously is Jayden Daniels. Chris has Caleb Williams. He's crazy. He's gonna regret that. Before we get this. But all right. So Jayden Daniels is the most hated quarterback on Twitter. He's most hated. He is hated. People are mad when the NFL liked him over Drake Maye. Well, it was like the audacity of the NFL. The audacity to like the guy who played under Herm Edwards and then went to the SEC and then won the Heisman. The audacity
to like the guy that his stat line just kept going like this: 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. How dare he?
How dare he do all that? How dare he run for 1,000 yards?
Trophy winner.
How dare he just jump over Drake Maye like that? What is your problem, Jayden? You need to go back to your. Let's pull up your numbers at ASU. What did you do at ASU, Jayden? I don't care what you did at LSU. Let's find out what you did at ASU, huh? Let's pull up the. Oh, look at your pressure to Shaq ratio there. It's not very good back then, was it? Yeah, that's basically Jayden Daniels coverage right now. I've never seen us pull a guy's whole career stats until now. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. It's wild, Chris. Did they do that to Joe Burrow? I mean, Joe Burrow is basically Jayden Daniels. They have the same story.
You are stealing my comparison. Oh my god,
they have the same story.
They do. They really do.
He just won the national championship.
Yeah. That is the difference. That is the difference.
I mean, Joe Burrow is a better prospect because Joe Burrow has the pocket presence of
50 touchdowns is better than 40.
And he has the pocket presence of just amazing. He started using it until like year 3, but I mean, he always.
It did take him a little while to do that in the NFL. That is for absolutely sure.
It took him a while, but he does. That was like one of his best things, and he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks I've ever seen. And if he's in rhythm, he's unstoppable. So, and that just didn't change going to the NFL. But I think Jayden Daniels has a little bit of elements of that too. I wouldn't compare him. I said Randall Cunningham because I was just trying to think of some people came
on comparison. Yeah.
And Leonard Cunningham had a little bit bigger arm.
We mentioned that a few times too back in some earlier podcasts.
Yeah. So I think he has a chance to kind of be a good quarterback. A lot of people trying to give him these comps, but the big thing of him is that he's skinny and he doesn't have the greatest pocket presence in the world. You know, he doesn't, when he runs. He doesn't run. He just keeps his head up. He did get better at that last year, but you know, he is more of a runner. But
There's
you know,
a lot.
he's
There's a lot of film of him getting crushed. That's for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. I mean, that's people love to show that him getting crushed, and you know, he's got to learn that because and get out of bounds. I mean, that's gonna be the thing. But he's just so explosive in the open field. Just a lot of things you're gonna be able to do. I mean, he's, you know, you saw Justin Fields win 7 games a year. He can't even throw. Please, Jay Daniels could, you know, throw the damn football. That's what, you know what I mean. What are we talking about here when it comes to Jay Daniels? This is the whole conversation is weird. Like, you guys are all hyping up for Justin Fields to come to your team. Why aren't you trading for Justin Fields? Da, da, da. And then Jayden Daniels hops Drake Maye, and all of a sudden, here's the stat that Drake, oh, he's just like Justin Fields. Look at, no, you can't do that with me. You're not gonna do that. Jayden Daniels is a very accurate quarterback. He can anticipate. Maybe he can anticipate in the middle of the field a little bit better, but he anticipates outside. You know, he has some good anticipation throws inside too that you see on film. He was throwing a fade like crazy through 22 touchdowns, over 20 plus yards. Like, what are we talking about? Well, you know what this is a conversation about with him. Like, you can like Drake Maye, but you don't have to like make up stuff about Jayden Daniels. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Dude, I could not agree with you more.
That's my rant.
I don't. His career could go very much the path of RG3, where he's just this explosive rookie that does incredible things on the football field. He can win you games, but he's got that injury potential there that if he gets hurt and it's bad enough, his career's done, like it was for RG3. I don't want to see that happen for him. I'd love to see him play to his full potential and get out of bounds when he needs to get out of bounds, get down in a quarterback slide when he needs to get down in a quarterback slide. His frame, his build is really, in my opinion, the only downside.
Yeah.
So because of that, you're right. I do have him as he's my number one. He is my number one. I'm putting him as a higher ceiling than Caleb Williams. But that injury potential scares me and is the only reason why I could see him not being the best quarterback in this draft class.
All right, Chris. All right, man. Okay. I mean, you know, let's get to Caleb Williams. Okay, so Caleb Williams is my number
He's
one
your
guy.
one.
Okay?
He's mine too.
I think. What's your problem with Caleb Williams? Let's start there. I want to hear what's your issues. Why do you think Caleb Williams shouldn't be the QB1 here?
Caleb Williams is too young to be holding onto the ball to look to make that next level throw. He's, in my opinion, still shows every once in a while that his feet are bad.
And
And
I disagree with you there. We disagree.
that we do disagree. We do disagree there on him. But you know, I if I'm gonna steal somebody's opinion, I'm stealing Dan Orlovsky's.
Okay.
Where there are NFL throws, 1, 2, 3, get the ball out. You've got a guy that's open that can make a play for you and can get down the field. My coach in college would yell at me, "It's not your ball. You got guys on the field that you're supposed to get the ball to. It's not your ball."
Yeah.
And that's Caleb. Caleb, it's not your ball. Get that ball to the guys on the field that can win the game for you, that can score the touchdown. You can get the touchdowns. Just get the ball out of your hands and put it in your teammates' hands. They'll score the touchdowns for you. You don't have to try and do something miraculous every single play. It's going to set him up for the potential to be getting hurt because he's going to be running around and going to get blindsided by some defensive end or outside linebacker that he didn't see while he's trying to make that extra play. Or he's going to turn it into a turnover because I don't know that he's ready for that speed. I think that he was playing at a higher level than his competition, which you can get away with in college. And I think the speed of the NFL is going to shock him.
All right. Okay. All right. So the reason why I have Caleb Williams is number one is I think that he's just a special quarterback. I think that he is. There's a lot of things that you want from an NFL quarterback. He does really well. Okay. Now, the reason why my biggest thing was that he's short. He came up 6'1". I was like, okay, all right, you're 6'1". A thing that Jay Gruden talked about, I want to steal somebody's opinion, is that he plays short. I thought that was super interesting that Jay Gruden talked about that. One, that just shows me I don't know anything. Two,
dude, I love that. When you get that new perspective that just you never even considered on the football field, that's what makes these coaches so special, and we take it for it for granted. Marcus and I, we argue about this all. Well, we don't argue about it. We feel the same way about it. That these coaches take these guys in and are like, he'll play in my system. And it's like, what makes you think that you're so smart that you can do? Marcus, they're that smart.
They are.
They are smart.
Like, he plays short. And that makes sense because he does play short, right? Because I never thought he was 6'1". Never would have thought if he's 6'1", I mean, that's the same size as Jalen Hurts. You know what I mean? And he's 6'1". He's, like, I think almost 220 pounds. Mm-hmm. So, but I think the thing that you're missing, Chris, is that he is basically, if Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes were mixed together in a lab.
I heard all about all the
because you're missing the Russell Wilson part of this, okay? So what you're talking about and what Jen Ossie's talking about is the Russell Wilson half, okay? Now, while there's a great mixture here of these two, is that Russell Wilson is more accurate than Patrick Mahomes, correct? You say that?
Yeah. Patrick can get away with a lot more because of the velocity he can put on the football.
Yeah, I mean, but Russell Wilson has a big arm too. Russell Wilson has a huge arm.
I'm not saying that Russ doesn't have a big arm. I'm just saying what Patrick Mahomes does with the football is special.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But Russell Wilson's more accurate. So Caleb Williams has the accuracy of Russell Wilson. Okay, so Caleb Williams could put the ball wherever he wants to. I think deep ball can be a little bit better there, but like wherever else, he's putting the ball wherever the hell he wants to. Okay, I mean, his throw against Oklahoma versus Texas that throw is just incredible. Okay, it's the just craziest throw you might ever see, and I was in clutch late in the game and to win the game. I think he fixes mechanics a lot this year. I think that's a lot of what we saw at the end of the year when they started losing was something that he wasn't doing before the Notre Dame game. So with Caleb Williams, if you watch from some of the first games in the Notre Dame game, he fixed his feet. He was making a lot of pocket movement, getting the ball out on time, very accurate, great mechanics, great throwing motion. Everything is there. Great pocket movement, moving in the pocket, doing all these cool things, getting rid of the football, getting through his reads. Like the Colorado game, he looked like a machine, dude. He looked like a pocket machine in that game. And even like the game before that, I forgot who they played before that, he looked like a pocket machine. But it felt like they played Notre Dame, okay? And then, Notre Dame started kicking their ass pretty early. And I think he went to the bench and realized my team sucks. And he just started being a wild. You watch every film after that, he's running around in a circle.
Yeah.
He's running around in a circle. So there's two areas to that, right? I feel like that he's somebody you can calm down. I think on a good team, and he doesn't feel like he has to be a hero, you can calm him down. You can calm him down a little bit. He showed elements that he could do it early on in the year. It was like he was trying to prove to people like you, Chris, that he could do it. That's what he felt like he was doing. He was trying to prove to you that he could play from the pocket, but then he realized that his team is not good enough. We're not going to win a lot of games if I just sit here in the pocket. And they didn't win a lot of games anyways, but, he kept them in games. Like Washington game, he kept them in those games. UCLA, he kept them in those games, trying to make all those plays. But the beginning of the year film shows me what he could be in like year 3, year 4, when he's like 27, 28. He's more controlled and he makes plays when he needs to. And I just think he's extremely accurate. He's a playmaker, and I think that he's just there's a big element to him. So if he doesn't throw 4,000 yards in Chicago, it's the Bears. That's kind of how I feel about Caleb Williams.
Well, I mean, he's going to have the weapons.
If he's not the first guy,
he's going to be.
we got to talk about what's wrong with Chicago.
You can't even say 4,000, Marcus. Just get to 3,000. They haven't had anybody get to 3,000 yet. All right? I
mean, Jay was close before. Jay was close. Jay Cutler was close a couple times. He was close. But I'm saying, if you can't throw 4,000 there, I don't know what's wrong with them. They gotta do some. I don't know. They gotta do something. I don't know. They gotta fix that, bro. They gotta fix it.
There's a lot to fix in Chicago.
Yes, there is.
Well, that's what the draft's all about, Marcus. It starts with that first.
Yeah, but let's keep it real. Caleb Williams is going to he's going to a pretty damn good situation, right?
Well, they still got some work to do on the offensive line, but there's some young talent that they could have.
If they draft Rome Odunze, though,
Why would you bring in a third wide receiver when there's such a bigger need on the offensive line?
I don't know. You know, DJ Moore is good. I think he's
DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. Do you forget they got Keenan Allen this offseason?
Why not a third? I don't know. What's wrong with the third, Chris? I don't understand. Keenan Allen's old. How old is Keenan Allen, Chris?
I don't know. You tell me. He played in your division for so long.
He's like 40, bro. Like, you can draft Odunze. You know what I mean? He's
That's
40. He ran a 4.7 at 21.
Listen,
you know
let them go and let them draft another wide receiver. And when Caleb Williams is getting taken down by 4-man pressure twice a year against the Packers, I'll be more than happy.
All right, man. I think you should be a little nervous. I think you should be nervous about
I'm not nervous.
You should.
I'm not nervous. Not nervous.
I think you should be. Okay, I think you should be a little nervous because he is a gamer too. He's a gamer.
Good. Justin Fields was a gamer. Let's go. Come on.
All right, Chris. Man. Hey, you know, Caleb Williams is my QB1. You know, so that's my thing. I'm not saying he reminds me of Mahomes. I think he thinks he's Mahomes, but he is really Russell Wilson. He's Russell Wilson. He thinks he's Patrick Mahomes in his brain.
Yeah.
But he is Russell Wilson, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. I hear you.
Yeah,
I hear you. We'll see if he can hold the ball long enough to get a deep ball off like Russ tries to do all the time.
Because he doesn't have the deep passing ability of Russell Wilson, but he's got some crazy throws, Chris. You know, he's consistent. Yes, that's what I think. Yeah, I know what I'm gonna give him Caleb Williams. He's consistent. I think he's very good mechanically. I think you haven't seen the fixed mechanics there. He gets the ball up right. He's moving in the pocket. You haven't seen it, man. You haven't seen it.
We've gone over. I don't need you to keep talking up Caleb Williams like I got to be afraid of him.
You should be, bro. I'm telling you.
Listen,
I spent
all of last season here about how afraid I needed to be of Justin Fields and how great the Chicago Bears were.
I did not say that.
I didn't say it was you. I didn't say it was you. Listen. I was in Chicago for work. I was hearing how great Justin Fields was last year. If I got to survive another summer of hearing how great Caleb Williams is going to be, fine. Listen, I can survive the summer hearing about how great Caleb Williams is going to be. Hit him with the socials, Market. Let's call.
All right, guys, they're out of here. All right, guys. So follow us on Twitter at @TheMarkJohn NFL for me, at King Manelos for Chris. I think I forgot that at the beginning. That's fine. Chris is, follow him. He was able to talk to quarterback. He played quarterback in college, so that made sense to you guys. Then
we are diving into a little bit of a new audience. So yeah, Marcus he's our scout guy. He is the man that goes to the NFL Combine. He's the man that goes to the Senior Bowl. Marcus has the work done to become an NFL scout, and you passed the scouting program, right?
Yeah, Scouting Academy. Yeah,
the Scouting Academy. Yeah, there you go. I have a little small-time college experience many years ago. I'm not all that important, but I think we put together a good last few seasons. If you listen back to some of these old podcasts, you're gonna get some good information out of Marcus and I. We've hit a few home runs here with what we talked about.
We were the first to tell you that Kyler Murray wasn't good. That's what I said.
And I was the one that told you that CJ Stroud was and should have been that #1 pick. So
you're right, man. You're right on that. Yeah. And then Chris had a 99-yard flag football touchdown that was taken back by a stupid penalty.
Flag football? Really? You're gonna bring up flag football? Yes, Marcus and I played flag football together ages ago. Really? You're gonna talk about that?
It was a great touchdown, man. We needed it too. The dude, the stupidest block. I'll never forget that, man. We needed that touchdown. And Chris took it 99, bro. He took it to the house. And then
I'm not that important, sir. Let's hit it. We got that draft coming. Let's talk about the important kids.
All right, ALPA _QB1, and then what? Instagram ALPA _QB1, Twitter ALPA _QB1, a little pocket awareness on Twitter, Facebook, all that cool stuff. So, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this.
Spotify.
Oh yeah, Spotify too. Yeah,
iTunes. You can find us anywhere.
Yeah. All right, guys. We're out of here. Peace.